Good morning, it's Dispeller, and I am here to do our book again, How to Heal a Broken Heart in 30 Days, a day-by-day guide to saying goodbye and getting on with your life. We are on day 22 today. This is about responsibility. Wounded Child Day. Too many people submit passively to the trauma and pain of their separations from lovers and friends, believing that there's nothing they can do for relief but endure. Too many are unwilling to ask the right question, which isn't how can I make the pain go away, but how did I get these wounds in the first place? Often, answers to this last question involve shadowy memories of parents and some fuzzy and perhaps even paralyzing fears. You may even get angry at your parents, but you may not be quite sure why you feel that way or how your interactions with them resulted years later in the termination of a relationship with somebody else that you loved. Conventional wisdom, CW for short, asserts that whenever you go through a trauma, our internalized parents, living or dead, can be clearly heard whispering their counsel and judgments, whether we like it or not. Of course, as CW teaches, and that's not Chris Watts, by the way, that stands for conventional wisdom. As conventional wisdom teaches, whether you're 19 or 90, you may have a wounded inner child who stops you from attaining a well-deserved happiness. So in the spirit of this type of wisdom, let's call today your Wounded Child Day. By the way, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the little hand that goes up with the thumb. That means you like the channel. It'll help the algorithm, help more people find me, help me help more people. And also, you need to, let's see, what else? Subscribe, thumb, hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And yeah, like and share. Okay, some people do require extensive therapy to deal with their childhood trauma and to achieve resolution and peace. We don't mean to suggest that those people that we have a better option to offer. It's just been our observation that some people waste too much time on coddling or even spoiling their inner children, when their time could be better spent on learning how to gain entry to an adult's kind of happiness. Maintaining a childlike openness and spontaneity can help you to foster your hope and optimism at all times. But poking open childhood wounds that may have already healed is a poor waste of time. It can also prove to be quite unfair if you wind up blaming others for damage that no longer really exists. However, just as optimism can create happy outcomes, believing that your formative psychological wounds are still open will certainly go far in keeping them fresh. And these open wounds will someday make it almost impossible for you to establish a truly healthy intimacy. Instead, every relationship you enter will be an unhappy threesome, you, your loving partner, and your wounded child. Children lack the means to resolve grown-up issues, but as adults, our rational faculties can often help to make resolutions that are fairly easy to reach. Once again, this is not always true. Those who have suffered severe traumas may need professional counseling, but for many, the best way to carry on is simply to see their past traumas quite clearly and then let them go. For example, let's suppose you were a child who suffered severe abandonment pains. Now, whenever you break up with a lover or friend, you experience an inordinate degree of anguish and heartache, far more than most people you know. Now, imagine you recall that the first time you felt this way was at age 10, when you were separated from your parents and sent to boarding school. So much later, you seemed to relive the pain of that separation every time you went through a breakup. But now you've found the roots for your pain. Sometimes that knowledge can be enough to ease all of your relationship anxieties and allow you to experience something more meaningful the next time around. I'm going to give a personal example of this. Most of my life, I have had this tendency to attach to one particular person. I've done it online and offline. I did it in my past as a child in school. I would attach to one certain teacher or one certain friend. Inevitably, when you attach, as my mother used to say, putting all your eggs in one basket, when you attach to one person, that one person you tend to idealize or idolize. You put them on kind of a pedestal. And then when they show that they are human and show flaws, you either resent them, hate them, or you feel very disillusioned, like, oh my gosh, my star has fallen. They fell off the pedestal I put them on. And you feel like less of a person because you put everything you are into this one being. Bad idea. Don't do it. So what would happen is when that person finally got sick of me and said, ugh, I feel like slimed. I feel like you're clinging to me like a leech. When they would say, look, I can't do this anymore, and they would walk away, I would feel the same way I felt when my dad, who had made all these plans to be with me and spend time with me and take me to amusement parks and go to the park for peanut butter and jelly picnic or whatever, when he didn't show up and I was that little girl at 3 years old on the porch steps stomping my feet and telling my mom, no, my daddy will be here. He promised he's going to take us to the park. He's going to take us on rides. That little girl resurfaced and I would just stomp my foot. And when those adult relationships would end, same thing, or those school time relationships would end. Inside, there was that little girl screaming, no, it can't be this way. It wasn't supposed to turn out this way. They were supposed to come. We were supposed to be besties forever. I went through this with Becky in my past, big time. When she deserted me, the first reaction I had was fighting, kicking, screaming, no, we got to be able to work this out. There's got to be something that I did wrong. There's something I can do better. And she just kept saying, no, it's not going to work out. You're down here. I'm up here. She was very wealthy. She lived the life of the wealthier person. And I had no moral compass, or whatever you want to call it, no compass, I guess, to understand what that even meant. I didn't know the difference between Dove and Godiva chocolate. To me, chocolate's chocolate. And I didn't understand the difference or care about the difference between somebody buying me a Rolls Royce and picking a dandelion and just doing it out of their heart, because I loved people as people and I accepted whatever anybody gave me as something huge. And plus, I pretty much was living somewhat poor at that point. We were on food stamps. We were on welfare. So to me, any little tiny gesture of kindness was huge. It still is. I still live my life that way. Even though I'm not poor, I still lack a lot of things, as most of you know. So anytime anybody gives me anything, I'm extremely grateful for it. So anyhow, I didn't have an understanding of what it was she was and wanted from me. She wanted me to be that wealthy mentality like she was. And I had no clue how to do that. So it wasn't going to work out. We were like, oil and vinegar. We did not, or not oil and vinegar, sorry. What do they call it when it repels? Oil and water, maybe? I don't know. We were opposites and it did not work out. And it was frustrating to me because I really, really loved Becky a lot as a friend. I really adored her. I enjoyed hanging out with her. We were both goofy. We had a lot of humorous times. We would do impersonations with each other like till 4:00 in the morning. And I loved this friend. And when that friend said they had picked up with my old best friend, my former best friend, it hurt and it was angering. And it was like, what did I do wrong? Why is she better than me? What can I do to fix myself? And inside, what was really going on was, why didn't Daddy pick me up that day? Why didn't he stay in my life? Why wasn't he there during the father-daughter, things at school? Why didn't he come and see my Pilgrim Indian performance, whatever it was at the school? So I carried that with me, and it carried into other relationships as well. So there was always that screaming child. Now, as of growing up into, I'm 55 years old now, when relationships end, I try to just part peacefully. It doesn't always work out that way because maybe other people have childhood issues they haven't dealt with. I don't know. But to me, once something ends, I can make peace with it. I do mourn it and I grieve it like a death. I allow myself to embrace the anger and the resentment and the bargaining and all the stages of grief that you go through when somebody dies or you lose somebody. But then after that, I'm good. I'm like, okay, too bad it didn't work out. I pray that, that person is blessed and all is well. But there are just some people you don't mesh with, you clash for whatever reason. So yeah, you need to realize that and let it go eventually. That's the hardest part, is the letting go part. Okay. In the meantime, you needn't be as lonely, and you won't feel like avoiding or entering new intimacies for some very wrong reasons. Thus far, there's some truth in conventional wisdom. But after this point, why let a hurt child whose problem has been solved still run your life? If the source of your problem has been dealt with, that makes no sense at all. If you can let your traumas go after some simple introspection, get down to business and do it right now. Start by describing the emotional state of your inner child. Describe why that condition's holding you back. Was there a time or occurrence before which separation didn't hurt you as much? What happened? Are you ready to forgive or at least understand the creators of your pain? Or do you still need to let this old wound fester and perhaps ruin your ability to form positive relationships as your future rolls by? You're an adult now. Do you still think it's wise to let a little child decide your affairs? It's really not necessary to let anyone do so. The following tip spells out more specifics on how to stand as an adult on your own. And also remember, I think I said this on the last how to heal your heartbreak, how to heal a broken heart in 30 days. I said that remember that when one person is moved out of your life, or they move out of your life, they're making room for the next possible good person and right person. Okay. Your emotional flashlight. Whenever you feel gloom coloring all your other emotions, you can throw some light on large parts of the darkness. We'd like to help you conduct a rational self-analysis. Even though it calls for you to use reason to evaluate yourself, it still may be painful in part. If so, put off the hard questions until you're ready to answer. The objective of this exercise is to help you discover the sources of your pain so you can better understand your own emotional soft spots and needs. For this emotional inventory to be useful, you must be honest with yourself at all times. If you are in the habit of being either too hard on yourself or indulgently self-absorbed, break these habits for a moment. You want to be as objective and fair in your answers to the questions we'll ask as you possibly can be. Your emotions have just taken a beating due to the loss of a central love relationship. Your recent loss is a fresh, open wound, but let's now look for scar tissue left by old wounds. It might even be helpful for you to take notes on what you find as you do this. Some of the discoveries you make may have originated in painful experiences you actively wish to forget. That desire to forget can come around to hurt you again, as it may cause you to overreact or even panic if you encounter similar circumstances once more. Why take such a risk? Let's look at your own estimate of yourself as a lover or a friend. And we don't mean in an intimacy way, though that might be part of it. We want to know the strength of your love ego. Are you truly capable of strongly feeling love for another person? Are you capable of openly expressing your loving feelings in an attractive manner that invites a fair exchange? Are you afraid of expressing tender feelings? Do you encourage lovers to see you as a person different from them, or different from who you really are? Do you perhaps feel less than fully lovable just as you are? Okay, I'm going to do this inventory on myself. Are you afraid of expressing tender feelings? No. Do you encourage others to see you as a person different from who you really are? That's a hard question. Don't we all kind of, to an extent, maybe? I think we always try to put our best foot forward till it gets stomped on, and then we realize that's not going to work. I don't know. I always said that I prided myself on being genuine, but then my husband's been telling me lately, you're different on YouTube. You're different. You become angry. You become aggressive. You become defensive. That's not who you are in person. So I guess this year I'm striving to be more of the real me again. And I think I lost me somewhere along the way. Do you perhaps feel less than fully lovable just as you are? Maybe sometimes, maybe with all the put downs and the bad things that go on YouTube towards each other, sometimes I do feel less than lovable. And I guess that's why I like my job, because I'm needed there. I might not be loved. They don't even know me there yet. It's a new store, but I feel needed and I feel useful. And I'm told I'm useful once in a great while. Like when I had that phone call with the HR lady and she said, "Oh, well, don't quit the bakery. Don't go to dairy because your manager needs you. She likes you. She says you're doing really good." Who doesn't need to hear that? Most people need to hear that they're doing good, that they are good people. So yeah, on here when I come on and there's like beratements, or if that's even a word, beratings, I guess, um, criticisms constantly, then yeah, I guess sometimes I feel like less than worthy of love at times. Yeah. Do you feel that friends or lovers of the opposite sex are so powerful, they're dangerous, and mustn't be trusted with knowledge, or how vulnerable love makes you feel? Not really. Do you actually have a prejudice against their gender, an attitude that prevents you from seeing them as totally lovable by their very nature? No, because my problem has always been with females, not males, because females have hurt me worse than males ever did. I mean, from the time I was in school, females have hurt me worse. Um, have you had a series of unfortunate experiences with intimate others? Yes. Are you unlucky in love? Definitely. Trace it back. What is there about you that may make it so? I just plain flat out make wrong choices. That's why I'm unlucky in love, as they say. Did your parents or other loved ones expose you as a child to failed relationships? Well, my mom did divorce. A lot of people around me were divorced and remarried. So I think ultimately, after 23 years, I thought that was a good record, actually. It finally happened to me, 23 and a half years. Is there a family history of divorce? Yes. Is this history part of your anxiety? Yeah, I think it was, but then I ended up going through it. Um, for what I felt was a lot of different reasons than what my mom went through. My stepdad was obsessive compulsive personality disorder, bipolar, schizophrenic. So yeah, when her marriage ended, that was a whole different ball game than what my marriage was. So it wasn't exactly the same. My marriage was to a narcissist, to a man that was taught it's okay to torture and kill animals, and because they have no feelings. Um, a man that abused my first daughter very badly, physically and otherwise, abused me, put me in a chokehold. Lots of stuff happened in my first marriage that finally was, after 23 years and the kids were older, I finally said that was it. I was done. Okay, what are the other intimacy issues from your childhood? Don't just say dysfunctional relationships. That's nothing but a catchphrase. What kind of romantic failures did those you love suffer? Failures based on addiction to sex, alcohol, drugs, or other causes. Um, well, my mom divorced my dad because of irresponsibility. She used to have to get us up in the early morning hours, like at 4 o'clock in the morning, bundle us in our pajamas and coats, put us in the back of the station wagon, and haul my dad's butt out to work about an hour and a half away at Fisher Price. Um, it's a toy company in case it doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, so yeah, she definitely had to deal with a man that was irresponsible. His addiction was to music, to being the next Elvis Presley, thinking he was going to be the next Roy Orbison. And it consumed him to the point where if we as babies would wander into his room where he was making records, he would just flip out on us. Absolutely. So, let's see. Anything about drugs or alcohol? No, I don't think there was any failure based on alcohol per se. Money. Well, my stepdad embezzled money from Prudential Insurance Company. So, yeah, definitely something going on with money. Abusiveness, yes, my stepdad was abusive, or just loss of interest. Well, I don't think any of the divorces that I know of happened because, well, the person woke up one day and said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. You're boring. It was always a reason, whether it was abuse or neglect or addiction, it was something, because marriage takes two. And if two people are not willing to work at that marriage, then you have a one-sided thing. And that's not really a marriage. What people forget is marriage means marriage. Like, you're marrying two souls together, you're joining them together as one. So if both people are not on the same page with that, both people don't feel the relationship is meant to be and that it's worth working towards, it's not going to work out. It can't be a one-sided thing. Believe me, I've tried. Do you see any parallels in your own expired loves that remind you of the failed relationships that caused you pain as a child? Do your fears, fear of abandonment, unworthiness, inferiority, spring from messages you picked up from your parents or peers as a child? Yeah, like I already told you about my dad, me standing on the porch, stomping my foot, having a fit, saying he's going to come. He promised he would show up. I tended to choose a lot of relationships after that where the person would make promises and not keep them and would abandon me. Ultimately, that was a feeling of abandonment. So, yeah, I think I played that out in my life for sure. Okay. How many of the people from or who wounded you did things that you have never forgiven them for? Um, up until recently, not very many people have done things I haven't forgiven them for. There are some people that are like endlessly just ruthless, evil, perverted, inappropriate people. And it's not that I need to forgive them, I just need to steer clear of them because they haven't done anything definitely to me lately. So I can just let that go. But I don't want to associate with them either while they're, acting like that. And they always do. So there is no time they're not. How many of them can you now release with forgiveness for their failings? Like I said, up until recently, maybe a few I didn't forgive, but I've forgiven all now, especially when those failings are character flaws that you now recognize in yourself. I hate perversion. I don't recognize it in myself. I think it's disgusting. I think some of the things I've heard lately, even on YouTube, were just absolutely deplorable and disgusting. Harm towards animals, harm towards people, inappropriate relationship mentionings, just blah, nasty stuff. So I don't recognize it in myself. I don't act like that. I don't think like that. I don't tend to watch things where that's going on. So, no. Why did your most recently failed relationship die? Um, we'll just say character clash. Don't overcomplicate matters. Explain why it failed due to your actions or inactions alone and in one sentence or less. We were not compatible, so we parted ways. Then explain why it failed as you imagined your ex-friend would, in one sentence or less. Huh? I just did. Oh, one is my actions or inactions alone. Because of my strong beliefs, there are certain types of things I cannot engage in or be around. That would be my action, is just saying I'm not going to do this anymore. What would you change now in hindsight that would have made the happier outcome? Honestly, nothing. I feel like I handled it well. I don't feel like I did anything wrong in the ending of it. I just basically said we're not compatible. And I think we both kind of agreed with that we weren't. So, yeah. Can you see this as a mistake on your part, something you can learn from so you never have to make the same mistake again? No, I can't. I don't see that it was a mistake. I think I believed something maybe that I wanted to believe. Maybe that was a mistake that wasn't there, or maybe not as much as I thought it was. What steps can you take to prevent yourself from making that mistake again? Boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Honestly, that's really what I need to start living my life by with everybody I meet. Is just, this is what I will handle. This is what I won't. This is my job to fix. This is not my job to fix. And just learning about healthy relationships that have boundaries. So maybe re-educating myself on that stuff. Why not start now? That's what it says. Why not start now? See the future. Like it or not, bygones are bygones. Looking to the future, what kind of relationship would be ideal for you? Honestly, my relationship with my real life friend, who I really miss a lot, will be ideal for me, because we worked together. We have a lot in common. We have a lot to talk about. She's a godly person, not like me. She's not word of faith. She's very conservative, but she understands me, and we're compatible as friends, and we have a good time when we go out to eat and talk, and we always agree to get together and do it again, but it never works out. And I miss her, and I haven't seen her in a long time. In fact, I might reach out to her as soon as I'm done here. But yeah, so that would be the ideal relationship for me. How do you go about building a relationship like that? By basically being together, spending time together, like once a week, going out to eat, talking about our weeks, talking about things we're working on. That's what we've always done. What do you have to do to make it possible to find someone who will be able to play a part of in your dream and in all of the rest of your life? Basically reach out to her and say, hey, do you want to get together again sometime? I don't have a car, but if you could pick me up, we could go out to eat, have a good time together, talk and hang out. That's what I need to do. Anyway, that is it for that chapter. That chapter was called Responsibility. The next chapter will be called Pathways. I'm not going to be doing that one today. Like I said, I'm only coming on here to read the book for now, except one day a week. I will come on and go live. This is not what I'm talking about. Like, I'll go on later on tomorrow, I believe it is. I don't even know what day it is today. Is today Tuesday? Yeah, today's only Tuesday. So either tomorrow or Friday, I will go live in the evening so we can chat or whatever. But if you have anything you want to chat about now, that's fine too. I'll wait a moment to see if anybody wants to tell me your takeaway from this or input on this. That's fine too. Whatever you want to do. I won't stay on very long because I've got other things I'm going to do today, like laundry and cleaning and fun stuff like that. I have a rash on my leg and I don't know what it's from. So I'm hoping somehow today I can find someone to run me to the store or maybe take a bus to the store and get some Claritin so I can clear up this rash. I wouldn't take Benadryl because that'll knock me out. But anyway, does anybody want to say anything? Chat, talk, whatever. I realize a lot of people have been blocked. In time, I probably will remove some blocks. I've already started doing that. It's just based on, do I feel comfortable with the person or not? And there's certain things people are doing that make me feel uncomfortable. So I just don't want that energy where I can sense it. Anywho, look at this lazy cat. Well, we might end on that. Look at him. Little lounge lizard on my piano. You little cutie pie meanie. Night. Look at that tail. No. He knows his name, don't you, Neo? Look at that lazy boy. I know. My sweet boy. Such a big guy. You go back to sleep, buddy. I know you love laying on that piano. You always have. Anyway, let's end with that because that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. One of the cutest things. You guys have a great day. Nobody really wants to chat or nobody can. I respect that. Let's honor the day. Have a good day. I wanted to share something with you real quick here if I can find it. Let's see. Not that. Where is it? Every morning, this is kind of a commitment to myself. I am going to play these songs. And I needed upbeat stuff because, when you wake up, you're real groggy. You don't feel like starting the day, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I have the right one, though. I love Toby Mac as far as his music and stuff. So he's definitely one that I would use for my morning songs, but I wanted to share the other ones if I can find them. I don't know if it's in Watch Later. Oh, there's Planet Shakers. I haven't listened to them in forever. There's a lady named Jamie Grace. So if you're like looking for some really good worship and praise music, here we go. This is one I wake up to. Not the advertisement. Hold on. I need to get rid of the ad. I won't play the whole thing because I don't want to get struck.
Wake up and smile, because it's been a while. It's been like a whole day since I stopped so you could hold me. This child awaits, strong in the faith. Lord, you are the refuge that I can't wait to get to, because I can't let a day go, can't let a day go by without thanking you for the joy that you bring to my life. And ooh, there's something about the way you sunshine on my face. It's a love so true, I can never get enough of you. This feeling can't be wrong. I'm about to get my worship on, take me away. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When trouble sings.
Okay, you get the gist. I just wanted to share that. I'm going to wake up singing and dancing. I dance around my kitchen. I get all into it. That's how you should start your day, with something positive, positive affirmations, positive confessions. Life is short, y'all. There's a lot of garbage out there, a lot of bad stuff happening. Being that this is the true crime drama community, you all know that there's crimes happening. And I've been wandering around channels like I do, and somebody had a channel about a little baby that was killed. And oh my God, it just broke my heart. I just wanted to burst into tears when I saw that, because there was a similar case with a baby named Baby P. Broke my heart. I watched that whole documentary a long time ago, and the stuff that was done to this little baby was horrible before he was even killed. And it breaks your heart. I mean, people are evil. There's people with just evil minds and evil words and just plain flat evil. So I would rather start my day happy, go to work, have a happy attitude. Like my manager, when people come in and they say, "Hey, how are you doing?" She's like, "I'm here." That's not the way to run your day of your job. You should be like, "Hey, I'm here. I get to work today. Yay. I'm making money. I'm going to pay for my kitty food and my piggy food and my food. And, I'm going to be able to go home and relax later." And there's just stuff to be happy about. It's too easy to be miserable. If you focus on the news and everything going on, it'll bring you down. It's no wonder depression is like one of the highest mental disorders in the United States of anything. Hi, baby boy. Come here. You're my boy. My bobo man. Like this. How can you be sad seeing this face? You're just a sweet man, aren't you? He's like, "Let me out of here." It's because I have tea tree oil on my hands. He probably smells it. Anyway, I don't know. I just thought I'd drop that in there. So you guys have a great day. Be blessed. Thanks for watching, if you did, or listening, or whatever, and being here. Sorry if you're blocked and I can't handle your energy in my room. There's probably a reason for it. I would say there is a reason for it because I don't block people for nothing. If you're unblocked, that means I became comfortable with you again and realized you weren't a threat. So, yeah, I can tell you this. Hey, LB. Hi. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you are blocked, it's probably because you've talked violently, you've talked pervertedly, like in excess. You are hanging with people that do that and you're okay with it. That's why. That makes me uncomfortable. If you're overall a good, decent person and you've been kind to me, kind to my husband, then chances are you're probably unblocked by now. And if I'm uncertain about you, you're probably still blocked, especially if I've told you that the way to reach me is by email. That is my boundary, and you have not respected it, and you just go and complain to other people that you're blocked. You won't get unblocked. So it's as simple as an email. And many of you I've reached out an email and I haven't heard back. So again, you're probably still blocked. Just so y'all know. All right. Anyway, I will see you on tomorrow's live stream. I'm probably going to upload another 1 or 2 videos in the meantime. But other than that, I'm going to be doing real life stuff here. Those of you that have my number, you know how to reach me. You guys have a great one. And I will talk to you tomorrow night. Be blessed. Shalom.